Okay, so today I'm with Katie McCoy, who's in the northeastern part of the US. So hi, Katie.
Hi,
Whereabouts are you, in fact?
I'm in New York, so I'm about 20 minutes outside of Manhattan.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, and so Katie, just a little bit of background about you. So what I understand is that you've been doing energy healing, energy work with about 5 or 6 different modalities, plus things like massage, facials, craniosacral therapy, that kind of thing, more the bodywork side as well, for about 20 years now. So that's a wonderful experience. And then in the last few years, you've moved into incorporating sound work as well into this, sound healing into it. And you've actually been through our training as the Sound Healing Academy and taken both our level 2 diplomas for working one-to-one with clients as well as working with groups. So what a great background. And then now you're stepping into the role of being a teacher with us, what we call an associate teacher, with the first live online workshop planned for about February next year. So that's wonderful. So thank you again for joining us. So we're here today to invite Katie to share with us her experiences of working live online with sound healing over these past few months when a lot of people have been in lockdown and so on as a result of the SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19 kind of issue that we've all been facing. So wonderful. So Katie, how have you found this? I mean, just generally working with sounds live online with clients one-to-one and in groups?
I find that there really is no difference in the healing. Sound and energy translate very well through internet, online. People are skeptical because we put limits on things, but this is actually, you get the same results either way.
Amazing. Yeah, right. Okay, I mean, that's a great headline, isn't it? It's like saying, well, what's the problem here? If we could get the same results live online as we do live in person, then there's nothing to hold us back.
Well, I think once everybody tries it once, I think that after the first time, people realize it really does work.
Great. Okay. So just before we get into it, I know you've got some testimonials there to share from real life people that you've been with. But before we get into those, just tell us a little bit about, you've done this both with working one-to-one with clients as well as with groups. And have you used the same kind of technology, the same platform with both? And what is that? Is it complex? Is it difficult?
Oh, no, I just use Zoom. I am not a tech person, so the simpler the better for me. I just use Zoom between the webinar from the Sound Healing Academy and the upgrades from Zoom. It's virtually every once in a while, there might be a little bit of lag or a little bit of echo, which some instruments like the gongs or the crystal singing bowls. So you just have to be mindful of it and just go slower to not do that vibration. Right. The other thing is voice. A lot of times I do sound and voice together. So I had to learn to just do voice and then sound and then voice. And then another thing I did too is I recorded, like I would record my voice doing a meditation and play that at the end before the percussion. And then I could do sound instruments while the recording was going on. And it was so much fun to do sound in conjunction and make it really come alive. It was very effective.
Ah, that's a really good tip. That's a really good way of working. Yeah. So a kind of a mixture of your own pre-recorded sounds plus the live sounds. Yeah, great. And did you record the Zoom sessions and hand them on to people?
I did, if clients asked me to. A lot of times what I did with the bigger groups is I had, there was a host, which makes it so much easier for you. The host will record and put it up, and they also can do any of the technical issues, or if anybody's writing in, they take care of that while you're, once you're in doing the sound healing, it's keeps the continuity if someone else is doing it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's so helpful, isn't it? Because you can just focus on your job of doing the healing work with the sounds and the energy work. It's really more effective to do it that way if you can set it up like that.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find too with if the recordings and people listen to them again and again, and they have a different experience every time.
Oh, okay. That's good to
Yes.
know. That's good to know. Okay, so you've done all this, and you've got some testimonials there to share with us from some real life people who've been through
Yes.
this with you. Great.
Yes. All right. This person had an online session, one-on-one. She
Hmm.
had a virtual sound healing session. She really didn't know what to expect with this session, and to be honest, she was very skeptical about it, and she didn't know how it could possibly work without being in person. So,
Okay.
what a pleasant
That's the
surprise!
typical kind of reaction you get.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
that's
Okay.
a perfect reaction. The best word to describe my session was powerful. My body felt like it was floating, and the amount of color and imagery that I was seeing was amazing. As the colors were swirling, there were faces morphing through. So much releasing went on, and such a great feeling. This was a wonderful session.
Wow.
Uh, the next person had 2 online sound healings, one group and one individual. And she said, each session was different for me in what I experienced, but I felt restored and refreshed after both. Approximately 2 weeks after the individual session, severe pain I had in my right wrist and hand was gone, something I had been dealing with for almost 2 years. There was a lot of peace, and she was truly grateful to be pain free now.
And of course. Wow, that's fantastic. That makes a real difference to somebody's life when it's like that.
And that was online.
Yeah.
So there is, hold 1 second, someone else too with this was an individual, and she has back pain, and the same thing. Sound healing, she had been here previously, so she knew what to expect, but didn't know what was going to happen over Zoom. So I was laying down on a table with my eyes closed. The sound quality over Zoom felt as though Katie was in the room. I was able to get in a very deep, relaxed state while Katie performed the sound healing. It's almost as if you're not in your body, but you're in this other state. I'm not sure how to describe it other than a state of total peace.
Lovely.
After the session, I remained on the table for a long time, just enjoying being in the tranquil state. I have issues with my back, and the sound healing has been particularly helpful in dealing with it. I felt very calm and relaxed for the rest of the day. My back issues have improved significantly. I would recommend a Zoom sound healing session. Highly.
Wow. There you go. There you go. Okay, so let's just get one thing out the way. So you've been doing this obviously as you're a qualified practitioner and so on, sound practitioner, energy healer, all these other things. So have you been charging for this?
Oh, yes. Yes. All right. Let's see. I've run my own business, I guess, for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing online is I run a special. So I take $10 off what my normal session would be. And that's either whether you want individual or group. So, you can have as many people as you want for that flat rate.
Right. Of course.
And that's what I've been doing. And now, even though I was allowed to open up again in September, I still have a lot. Like last night, it was an out-of-state sound healer. So I'm still doing a lot of online work, and I highly recommend it. There are, so many procedures and right now in place that it's very hard to get people in person. People are very nervous about it. And a lot of times having to wear the mask and everything is very upsetting. So people can't really relax. So they get such benefit being home, and they feel safe and have this online healing. It's a wonderful avenue to really look at.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Those are really good points. Yeah. And so what about any other tips about how you've actually done it? When you're live online, you've worked your way through what we call the 10 steps of integral sound healing, with the connection and so on. What about things like the assessment? Have you, you were saying there's no difference between live in person and live online.
Okay. I'm going to say that at the beginning, it does feel a little odd. Instead of having a person here, you have your laptop. I put it on the table, and it's like a hologram. It's like a virtual. As soon as you plug into the energy, it's the energy. And it's absolutely amazing. You can still do the same assessment. I would just say at the beginning, and especially with groups, and you're used to a group and you're playing once again, as soon as you tap into that energy, you're there. And all your clients are there.
Yeah.
A lot of times what I do is where I would normally work on the body with a tuning fork or a bowl, I'll put it right on the computer and do it. So the vibration,
Right.
I can tell you, tuning forks, doing
Yeah.
it this way, I do meridian work that way.
Yeah, brilliant.
A lot of times I will now, because I'll do a visual, I'll talk to people, I'm working on this now, I'm doing this. I had one group that I just felt called to do a meridian release that I did and didn't even say anything about it. And afterwards, the first question was, what was that? Because as soon as you did that, there was a complete release in my body. So it's not even putting a suggestion in, it's happening. It's just happening for real.
Amazing. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, that's such a good message. Fantastic. And what about, when you get into the actual sound side of things, when you're actually creating the sound healing, do you how do you handle that visually and so on?
Well, visually, okay. A lot of times what I do to enhance the sound is everybody turns their videos off and their audios. So I'm the only one that has an audio on that really enhances the sound. I leave for my individual clients, they have two options. If they're more comfortable, they can turn their video off. If they're okay with it, they lay down and I can see a visual of their outline so I can see their physical releasing. So I can be mindful and still stay with and make it gentle releasing. For the groups, for both actually, what I ended up doing, which I'm going to show you, when you turn your video off, it's a very good idea to have a picture there to give a visual. Now, this is actually in my sound healing room, and these crystals are very high vibration. So any of my clients that were here, they automatically feel in my room, but anybody else, they're feeling the vibrations of these crystals. So I would suggest even, everybody needs grounding now. So having some type of nature or ocean or something so that they have a visual to look at is a very effective too.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I really like that. Yeah. So they don't have to have, a bunch of crystals like you've got, which is obviously they could just have a nature image or something, would be just as good. Yeah. Okay, so if you wanted to just give somebody another tip or another piece of advice or some kind of general statement, about this, what would it be?
I guess the main point is that it is just as effective. And that it really is a wonderful avenue. Also, I enjoy doing the groups to introduce people to sound. Once they realize what a wonderful healing that they get, it's a wonderful gift of service to begin with. And it's a wonderful way to introduce people to this.
Yeah,
Yes.
It is. It's great, isn't it? And of course, this is so needed at this time, isn't it? When people are shut away at home more. I know around and about in different countries and different states, there's more or less of a lockdown, and people are more or less kind of freely able to move around now. And it varies, doesn't it? But I think we've all been through it, and we've all had to face our own challenges around it, with not only physical in some cases, with the more severe symptoms coming through, but just the whole kind of mental and emotional state that's been around with the COVID. It's been a challenge for a lot of people, and I think doing this kind of work live online has been really beneficial to a lot of people, I think, and I guess that's the sort of service that you're talking about at this time.
Yes, I find, and this is what got me into sound to begin with, sound goes in so quickly and so deeply to heal on such a deep level, quicker than anything I've ever seen.
Right.
And it removes the blocks because there's very little resistance to sound. So it's a wonderful, deep healing modality.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wonderful, Katie. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Hopefully, as a result of this, you feel inspired to get live online with sound healing, taking on board some of these tips and comments that Katie's made, And if you're already qualified with us, I'm sure you'll be getting testimonials like that from your clients as well, if you do it. And remember that we do have lots of resources here to help you get going with this live online. We've got briefing documents and webinars that we've recorded and all of that to help you to do this, to get started. And that's the message, I think, overall, is just get started with it. You might not get it right first time, but just do it. Get practicing, and it will get better and better as you go along. All right. So thank you, Katie. I really appreciate everything you've been sharing with us today. That's really brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.